what inspires me to create. For me, I guess it's all about storytelling. Whatever the media or the medium happens to be, it's about telling stories. I tell my students all the time, when it comes to dramatic work, it's like, make me care. I want to care about the story. I want to care about the characters. I want to be moved or made to think or challenged in some way or simply just entertained. So it's story. Life is stories. So for me, I'm inspired by stories.
I like to see a pile of supplies just turn into something, like a finished product. I like seeing nothing turn into something, and then people's reaction to what that is, if it's something they've asked me to custom design for them or something that I've already made. It's just really neat to see people's reaction to it, and it's really good stress relief to create.
Nice.
What's inspiring me to create is cartoons, old school cartoons where I grew up on. Toys I collect, even from back then when I was small. I love playing with toys and stuff. I love to create things. And I even create crazy things out of Tupperware. I had my mom mad at me half the time when I create stuff. And it's been in my blood. And I just, my friend of mine told me, to use, my creativity, going ahead, point it somewhere. So I started with beads and pipe cleaners to make figures and sold some of them. And then I went out, and once I found out the new technology with the 3D printing, I got into that. And it took me a while to, get the hang of everything, especially the program I use. But once I got the hang of it, I started putting out these guys right here. And ever since then, I love it. Imagination is a God-given gift. Use it.
What inspires me to create is, just being creative, honestly. It's all about spending time making things I love and sharing them with others. So, awesome. My hobby. Just express yourself, find something you love and do it, whether it's dance or music or art, whatever it is, do it.
Two things inspire me to create. One is just other creators. Creators around here at the shows, creators on social media, you see them doing things and it just kind of keeps that ball going. On a more personal level, as you can see, and we talked about off camera, I'm a military veteran of the war in Iraq, and it's very therapeutic for me. It helps. It's an anti-depression thing, and it really just kind of helps, keep me calm and level. The advice I give all the young creators out there is do it now. Don't wait till you're 37,
Well, there's just a wealth of knowledge that we all collect as we go along, and I think that when I do my creations, I try to put my own spin on it. So whatever I grew up with in the past, it tends to be a lot of cartoons, things that I saw, and I just collected along the way. And I found that superheroes were the one thing that I felt really drawn to. So whatever I enjoyed tends to be what somebody else enjoys as well. So the webcomics for me was the big start, and you might start off rough, but you got to start, and then that's the best way to get going without the fear is the necessity. You have to have that no matter what, and doing it is probably the best way to get over that. You just kind of have to move past it, and that's always a halt for a lot of people, but you got to move past it and swallow it, put it out there.
What inspires me to create is pretty much everything, everyday life, things you see. Lately, the election, Trump has inspired me to create some books, but anything inspired me to create. It really could be anything mundane to something like, the election. Just don't give up. You just have to keep trying. I mean, it's rough. Sometimes you sit at these tables and you don't sell anything all day long, and you think, it's created something that nobody wants to read, and then other times you sell a lot of stuff. It's just persistence.
Honestly, comic books. That's what got me started. I read them as a kid, and I thought, man, I want to make these myself. So I wrote them, I drew them, and later on I just wrote them because I realized I couldn't draw so well. But that was what got me started, though.
Money, and anybody who says it's not money that inspires them to create is lying to you, okay? People create because they want money. Now, there are better ways to make money, and I think the people who create, like Mark and I, do it because we probably can't do anything else. And this is what we love this, and we love creating. But you know, Shakespeare wrote for money, and I do too.
What inspires me to create is the characters themselves, and I do have a background in theater. So because I'm too busy to do theater, this is my outlet for acting and portraying the character. And I've always been artsy, so I guess this is my artistic outlet. So I kind of pick characters that mean something to me. Morticia and Gomez themselves to me are kind of the perfect couple. So that's why I did this. And every cosplay I do means something to me. My always number one thing to say to people that are going to be cosplaying or interested in cosplay is pick a character that means something to you. My first cosplay was Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice because she inspired me a lot, and I felt a connection with her. And to me, in the animated series, Beetlejuice and Lydia had the perfect friendship. So always pick something that means something to you, and you'll work hard on it, and you won't want it to be kind of, done halfway that way.
Well, what inspires me to create is if I didn't create, I would die. You know, I feel it's something that I was born to do, I have to do. I'm a creative person, and if I had to do, you know, like a 9-to-5 job and sit behind a desk or something, I'd probably, you know, jump off a cliff, you know what I mean? So I've been very, very fortunate in that I get to, I'm a voice actor, director. I've done over 500 characters in animation and games, and including the Joker, Raiden, Bato from Ghost in the Shell, Ansem from Kingdom Hearts, to name just a few. All these different games and shows that I'm part of, and it's really fun. I get to be creative and be these different characters, and I get to play heroes and villains, and you know, it's wonderful, and it makes me feel alive. So without that, I would not be happy. My feeling is if you really want something, then you should pursue it. If it's something you really have to do and have to have, then I say go for it. But you know, I don't want to discourage anyone. But you know, the thing is, the reality is it's very competitive and very hard. But the thing is, I think a lot of people see this and they think, oh, it's fun and it's easy, I could do that, but it's not true. It's very competitive and very tough. So if it is something you really want to do and you want to follow your heart, then I say train and become the best actor you can be, become the best voice actor you can be, and be competitive, because there's a lot of people who want to do this work and who are out there that are very good, and it's getting, you know, tougher every day. And I say this not to scare anyone off, but just to let them know if it's something you really want to do, you can do it, but you have to work at it. You know, it's not something that's just gonna, you know, like it's like somebody saying, I want to be in the Olympics, but they don't train for it, and then they go out there and they, you know what I mean? It's just you have to prepare yourself, and I think people think you can just walk in the booth and do it, and it doesn't really work that way. You know, you have to really train yourself and become, you know, a good competitive actor in order to compete and get jobs in this stuff.
First and foremost, I think it's my child. You know, when I had my child, I quit just drawing for fun and trying to be real serious about putting something in this world that will last, that'll stand the test of time. So that's kind of it.
That's awesome. So tell me, how long have you been playing?
I think since I could first pick up a pencil. So the difference in a lot of people, they quit drawing. I just never stopped drawing. That's it. If I could say something to my son to inspire him, I would say just ignore the naysayers, and the biggest naysayer is yourself, and that's the person you gotta beat. If you can beat yourself, you can beat anybody else.